In the last 48 hours, the Roblox animation YouTuber Potemer has finally broken his silence. 6 months after the original came out, he's now released a public response, a community post claiming that a legal investigation went on behind the scenes and supposedly proved he's innocent. But in reality, the whole situation feels a lot more like the O.J. Simpson trial, where despite the overwhelming amount of evidence, including self-admissions, screenshots, recordings, and even direct testimonies from the people who knew him in real life, he still got away, at least legally. So in this video, I want to go over everything Potemer has done, debunk the narrative that he's now trying to spin, and prove for what feels like the 100th time that Potemer is not innocent. In fact, he's a manipulative, dishonest, and morally bankrupt person who has consistently dodged accountability while playing the victim. But before I get into all of that, please make sure to like, subscribe, and watch until the end. I know I say this every time, but engagement helps push the video out to more people, and the more it spreads, the harder it is for Potemer to bury the truth. So let's begin with what happened on June 18th of 2025. Potemer posted what he claims was a bombshell, a police report that he says cleared him of all wrongdoing. In this community post, he states that he and others were investigated and that the police found nothing criminal. He also tries to shut down anyone speculating that he tricked the police, insisting that the investigation was too thorough for that to be possible. He then makes a bold claim: YouTubers are not law enforcement. The goal here is very obvious: to discredit the dozens of content creators and independent investigators who have spent months collecting evidence and calling him out. And finally, he ends the post with a classic sympathy-baying move, thanking his supporters and painting himself as the real victim of a misinformation campaign. Let me be blunt, this entire post is pathetic. Potemer is waving around a single redacted police report tied to just one incident and pretending it somehow erases hundreds of screenshots, dozens of audio recordings, and multiple testimonies from people who interacted with him both online and in real life. That's not a defense, it's a distraction. Also, it's important to point out that the 3 pages Potemer released are more redacted than the Epstein files, which says a lot. Now, let's talk about the police report he posted, because it's one of the weakest and most manipulative defenses I've ever seen. This report only lists one piece of evidence, one screenshot. That's it, just one. Meanwhile, the actual evidence compiled by the community includes hundreds of screenshots, dozens of audio clips, numerous chat logs, and first-hand accounts of inappropriate behavior. This wasn't just a minor misunderstanding, this was a massive investigation spanning months, and Potemer thinks a report with one screenshot somehow erases all of that. Please, one screenshot doesn't clear someone who's been exposed by dozens of people with hours of recordings and literal confessions. That's not proof, that's a pathetic deflection point. Even worse, Potemer, or someone really close to him, redacted and edited the entire report before sharing it publicly. He replaced the names of the individuals involved with ridiculous fake labels like yellow / people mislabeled as victim by others, Puss, I'm not the reason for his arrest, which we all know his mother's responsible for Puss getting arrested, and person who was harassed, without even displaying who that person was. Let me be clear here, nobody was ever harassed. So Potemer claiming that 2 people, not just one, was harassed during this whole entire investigation really just points out that he's probably making stuff up as he goes along. This isn't transparency, this is tampering. This is Potemer trying to rewrite the story before you can even read it. No legitimate defense involves redacting a police report and inserting your own biased commentary in place of real names. If this truly cleared his name, he wouldn't have needed to touch it. He would have let it speak for itself. No real investigation really happened. Here's the part that really exposes the whole thing as a sham. When I looked through the redacted police report Potemer shared, one of the first names that stood out was someone labeled Puss, I'm not the reason for his arrest. Childish excuse aside, this person was listed right at the top of the report, which would suggest they were a key figure in the investigation. So I reached out to him directly on a stage, and what did he tell me? He said that he was never once contacted by the police. Not for a statement, not for a follow-up, nothing. Just a couple minutes ago, I'm not sure if you're fully aware what happened, Potemer released a community post claiming that he's innocent, and he provided a bunch of legal documents. I'm not really sure if they're fully real. He released 3 pages claiming that he's innocent and that there are a bunch of legal quotes, and on one of the papers, the second page specifically, he provided a list of people that were investigated, and the second person on that list is your name. And he actually said, I'm not the reason for his arrest, nor did I report him, that was someone else, which isn't really true because we already confirmed that it was him in a previous video. But were you ever investigated by anyone? Because this says that you were a person of interest and that they spoke to you about something. I mean, have they ever reached out to you?
No, I've been living my day-to-day life like nothing ever happened, I'm gonna be honest. They dropped my case and were just confused. I was pulled over the other day like just like as a pullover like ticket, like, hey, you missed a stop sign. It was like, why were you arrested? I was like, I don't even know, like what for. And then he pulled it up. He was like, wow, that's glad they like dropped it.
If even the people explicitly named in the so-called investigation weren't spoken to, then what investigation are we even talking about? If Puss, one of the top people on the list, was never interviewed, then it's safe to say that nobody else was either. This wasn't a deep, serious investigation, it was a formality, a surface-level filing with no real effort to speak to the dozens of victims and witnesses who came forward over the past year. So when Potemer brags that the case was too thorough to be faked, just remember, the police didn't even pick up the phone. And if the lack of interviews wasn't bad enough, there's something else that's even more damning. When you actually look at the police report Potemer shared and compare it to the redacted witness list, it becomes painfully obvious that the entire document only focuses on one thing: the incident involving a 12-year-old that Potemer got freaky with. That's it. That's the whole scope of the report. But if you've been following the situation, you already know that this is only one part of a much larger story. This isn't just about one DM thread, this isn't just about one conversation. Potemer has been exposed dozens of times in screenshots, in video chats, and in first-hand testimonies for behavior that ranges from manipulative to outright. None of that is mentioned in this report, not the emotional, not the threats, not the lies, not the way he used his platform to intimidate people into silence, none of it. So let me make this clear. Even if you were going to give him the full benefit of the doubt and accept the police report at face value, it still wouldn't absolve him, because the report only addresses one situation out of many. So now that we've established the police report is nothing more than a shallow, redacted smokescreen covering a single situation, and even then only including a singular screenshot for evidence, it's time to lay out the full timeline of everything Potemer has actually done. Because unlike that flimsy report, the community didn't stop at just one incident. Let's start with the core. Potemer, who was 16 at the time, had a relationship with a 10-year-old girl we'll call Yellow. They met when he was 14 and she was in a Discord-themed server called Chill Isles, and over time it escalated into something that was very clearly. Potemer admitted multiple times in private messages, in voice chats, and even in recorded calls that their relationship has happened. He even tried to brush it off with excuses like,
"So yeah, what I did was weird, but that doesn't make I'm not a pedophile."
Technically, no, he wasn't 18 yet, but legally he was old enough that it still qualifies as statutory in both Texas and Florida, especially with the gap of over 3 years between him and the victim, and it wasn't accidental. According to the victim, Potemer even admitted he thought about it for 10 minutes before going through with it. If you were the one who wanted it, you had to ask him, and then he said, yeah, let's do it.
He told me that he didn't want to just jump into that, and he didn't want to do that too soon. And then he was like, I'll think about it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
So what led to that? What did he think about?
I guess, like, he's like, hey, you know that idea you came up with? I'm not sure.
That's premeditation. That's not some confused teen. That's someone making a calculated decision to cross a line with a literal child. And even after all of this, when it started to catch up to him, Potemer began a campaign of manipulation and gaslighting. He told people that she manipulated him. He blamed her for his vulnerabilities. He even claimed that Parlo and I brainwashed her into speaking out, which is completely untrue. In another recorded call, Potemer flat out said,
This was said by herself, because her, my mom, and her mom got on call 2 hours ago, and she told us everything that Parlo essentially, pretty much manipulated her into saying the truth.
And if that wasn't enough, the parents got involved in the worst way possible. Potemer's mom excused everything by saying stuff like,
do you know how many teenage boys I knew when I was a teenager that would say, oh yeah, I hit that, and they didn't? I mean, come on, go ahead.
We go back to your point that you said that you went to high school with boys who said they hit that. This isn't what's happening here. Your son's claiming that he hit that to about a 12-year-old.
Yeah, so in the middle school.
So what?
So what do you mean, so what?
So what? When he gets cornered, he does not know what to say. He does not know how to react. He has a very slow processing speed when it comes to speech, writing, and reading.
She blamed his behavior on autism and slow processing speed, trying to play the mental health card to dodge the consequences of what her son was openly confessing to doing. At one point, she even admitted that Potemer and Yellow were alone in a bathroom before awkwardly clarifying it was just for a second, and that they were supervised. Spoiler, they weren't, and Potemer's own words later confirmed that. And just like that, the victim backed off. She suddenly changed her story, saying everything was fine right after her mom spoke to Potemer's mom behind closed doors. She even told Parlo and I that she couldn't say certain things because her mom was listening and that she'd been grounded and had her devices taken for telling the truth.
Potemer's mom spoke to my mom actually yesterday.
And what did they say? Do you know?
I don't know exactly. She just told me, like, my mom said she didn't tell me what exactly she said. It was just stuff about Potemer. My mom was worried about Potemer, and she doesn't want me saying anything anymore. So I don't know. My mom doesn't want me to speak because I say too much. Look, just in case my mom ever comes by, I'm just gonna let you know, like, I can't really, like, say anything because of mom. Like, I can't say anything. Like, even if I were, like, I'm scared that my mom was just gonna be just there because she's Discord and she can hear me anytime.
That you are afraid of your own mother.
And that's just kind of the main reason of why this is sort of, like, just covered and I can't say anything anymore. So
Listen, I'm not asking here for like a full-on admission. I don't want a full detailed thing here. I'm gonna ask you a straight up open question. I'm gonna need the honest truth here because otherwise this will implicate you and your mother, like, from a legal perspective. Did Potemer do to you the things that he's accused of? Did Potemer actually end up raping you?
he didn't have me. I'm still virgin.
Okay, so
He's going around to his IRF friends saying, quote unquote, I'm gonna just paraphrase this from him, he got teeth.
Oh no.
so someone here is clearly lying.
This is the statement that he's saying true? That's all we have to say. It's just a yes or no. You don't have to go into any detail.
Okay, because if my mom finds out I said anything, I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, I definitely was there. I don't want to say anything.
So he did end up getting teeth from you?
Yeah, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Potemer and his mom didn't just stop at manipulating the victim, they started mass reporting videos exposing him, such as what they did to Parlo and Sab Motions, and they filed false copyright strikes against creators like, for example, myself, where just 4 months ago, where one of my videos exposing Potemer got a false copyright strike, and it was later confirmed that Potemer paid someone in private to strike my video. They threatened witnesses, including close friends from the school who were ready to speak out. One of those friends, being known as Puss, suffered a full-on mental breakdown after Potemer's mom threatened to get him expelled from the school.
The point is, bro, no matter what, this kid is so petty. You don't know this person IRL like I do, bro. Okay, you don't know him IRL and I do. Hang on.
Go ahead and mute for a moment. Just clear yourself up. Get some water, okay?
Everyone in chat saying, am I crying, bro? You guys don't understand. A dream. I want to fulfill that, okay? I want to join something. I want to do something with my life.
Puss,
and you guys
Puss, breathe. Breathe.
And not long after, he got arrested, not for anything related to this case, but the timing was extremely suspicious considering he was days away from exposing everything. And let's be clear, this wasn't a one-time situation. Potemer was also exposed for distributing content to minors, including sending material to the same victim after she turned 15 while he was 18, hosting and participating in furry-themed Gartic phone sessions with minors that included very content, sharing R34 images of Roblox characters, including his own avatar in his public Discord server, commenting on and referencing CP-related content when he was just 13, including old YouTube comments that have since been deleted. And for the record, just very recently when he was 18 and the victim was 15, he actually sent her the video, which is just disgusting to think about all on its own. This isn't one isolated mistake. It's a years-long pattern of disturbing and inappropriate behavior, and has been enabled and protected by the people around him. So now you've seen the full story, unfiltered, unedited, and backed by real evidence. You've seen the manipulation, you've seen the lies, the cover-ups, the redacted documents, the threats, and the countless victims who were silenced while Potemer tried to rewrite reality by seemingly submitting a police report on himself, providing one unknown screenshot, and falsely obtaining the verdict of unfounded, which, for the record, doesn't mean he's not guilty. All that means there wasn't enough evidence, and of course that would be the answer. They submitted one damn screenshot. This wasn't just a mistake, this was a deliberate pattern of behavior enabled by those around him, and buried under fake statements, sympathy posts, and legal smokescreens. And still, he walks around like none of it ever happened. If Potemer truly wants to move on, then the least he could do is take accountability. But instead, he hides behind legal loopholes and performs damage control pretending to be the victim. So no, we're not moving on. Not until the full truth is known, not until the people here get the apology they deserve, and not until the community learns to stop protecting just because they have a fan base. If you watched until the end, thank you. Please like the video, share it, and leave a comment. Not for the algorithm, but because the more people see this, the harder it becomes for him to hide. If there will be any more updates on the situation, please join my Discord server. I will be posting every update I can over there. And if Potemer does decide to release a video regarding this whole situation, or if there will be anyone attempting to defend him, I will more than gladly make a live stream or a video and clarify the truth once more. It has been 6 months. People need to stop defending him.